How you doing, everybody, on this fine Sunday evening? Question, how do we have a thumbs down and we haven't even started talking yet? Oh, I think I know why. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So lots of fun stuff to talk about tonight. Inter Miami won. Inter Miami, went to the White House. All kinds of good stuff to talk about, playing in big stadiums and all that kind of fun stuff. But we'll get to all that in just a few minutes. But I don't do this by myself. Everybody say hello to everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed. How you doing, Ed?
Peter Brown, how you doing? Oh, where's the camera? Oh, there you are. There's some, and somewhere around here. I can't tell because I'm using my phone, so it's like, oh, there. I think, yeah, there it is over here. Anyways,
just look at the three little circles.
Yeah, I'm a little slow over here, but yeah, Peter, a lot of cool stuff happened this week. Getting the 3 points is awesome, also.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that and more, of course. But if you like what we do here, go ahead and do us a favor and click that join button and give us a little extra support. That will help us do some away trips. That's we kind of want to get into start doing that. So
it's the least they could do, Peter Brown. The least they could do.
No, the least you could do is like and share this video. But if you want to do a little bit more, click that join button. So anyways, before we get too far, as always, tell you where you need to go shopping. And that is Caneswear. Caneswear is located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. I can't get my directions wrong. They've got the best deals on Inter Miami merchandise anywhere in town. If JV's too far for you to go to caneswear.com. All orders over $99 ship for free. So you want to support us? Support our sponsor. And if you want to give us a voicemail, we've already got 2 voicemails in the queue. You want to leave us a voicemail, call 786-474-4435.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Peter. Where do we start, man?
Well, let's start. Let's go in order because I don't want to blow all the topics in the first 2 minutes of the show. First thing
we're gonna go in that order. Yeah.
Yeah. First thing up, Messi and company. They went to the White House. So this was something that I wanted to talk about, but I also want to be careful talking about it because 2 things. One, we don't talk politics on this channel. And, because we all love the team, we may not all agree on our politics.
Yeah.
And in the way society is today, doesn't seem like people can disagree politely. So, let's just not get into the mud of the politics. I'm going to try not to. It's hard not to a little bit when your team gets invited to the White House because no matter who's in charge, somebody's going to throw some darts, right? But Inter Miami, they had a big honor, and the fact that Messi showed up was a big deal because he had been invited before. He won some sort of Medal of Honor and he didn't go. So, what was one of the things that was cool about the whole thing is they brought back Ryan Saylor and Fafa from last year's team. They were there. I thought that was cool, even though they're part of other teams now. They were wearing the Inter Miami crest on their jacket, but I thought it was a pretty neat thing. Whether you like the president or not, Ed, would you, if you were invited to go to the White House in this kind of an event, regardless of what your politics are, would that play a part? I'm guessing. Would that play a part? Would you just show up and take in the honor, or would you say, screw it, I don't like the president, I'm not going, regardless of who it is?
Well, Peter, it's been like a tradition. It's becoming a tradition for all the champions to go to the White House, and I think it's something that shouldn't be, politicized, I guess you could say. Whoever the president is, they're going to invite you to go, and you should go. I would go. I mean, no, I'm no friend of Mr. Trump, but I think it's still a cool thing, and whoever's the president should continue doing this tradition. I think it's awesome that Messi did it. He's getting a lot of criticisms because of it, but whatever, man. It's a cool event. I liked it. I mean, it was funny, entertaining. And that's as far as we should go. I think our team was honored,
Yeah.
and they got to spend a time with the president of the United States. Awesome.
Yeah, I wish he had not started with the political statements in the beginning and just make it about the event, because I'm not very political personally, so I was like, I don't watch the news for a reason, right? so,
Right, right.
so,
Yeah, he should have
and
concentrated just on talking about the team
and to
and
be
go,
honest, yeah, it seemed a little awkward for some of the players that were up there, and actually Dane St. Clair said in an interview, he was asked about it after the game. It looked like, and he did say it was awkward, and they had, there's nothing they could do about it. It's out of their control. You can't control this man, so.
right.
So,
Dude, nobody can control him.
because
So
even what the funny thing is, even he joked about it, because if I remember correctly, and he said, hey, they told me not to talk about this, but I'm gonna anyways, right? So, but this is part of the reason why I also wanted to bring it up, is like, this is the kind of stuff that was being this is just a small sample of some of the comments that I saw on the internet. Where somebody just posted, hey, a picture in the Inter Miami group, and then right off the bat, people saying sad day for Inter Miami. It's a black mark, ashamed, um, you know, throwing names and stuff like that. So it was, you take a risk of damaging your brand, apparently. And so I wonder,
yeah.
does anybody in the chat, do you think this was, potentially damaging to the Messi brand or to the Inter Miami brand? Because I'll say, judging by the 72,000 people that went to the Baltimore stadium, which we'll get to in a minute, I would say there was no damage. But, the keyboard warriors definitely came out and were not so happy.
Yeah, that's you just put a couple of comments right there. But yeah, I mean, he's going to get criticized no matter what. Whoever the president was going to be, that that team would meet, they would have gotten criticized. So it is what it is. I'm grateful that they have these events. I think every president should greet all the champions that show up or that they invite to the White House. It's a tradition that should keep on going, no matter who the president is. And apart from his personality, I mean, I think it was a cool event, and I happen to enjoy it.
Well, that's just it. Harold, let's get to that in just a second. Even Kevin Gonzalez says, even though I'm not a Trumper, I would have gone to the White House. It's a once in a lifetime honor. So I could compare this to a little bit, not really compare it, but little story that my son, who's an adult, he's 36 years old. At one point, years ago, he had the opportunity to get a picture with Clinton. And I don't remember if he was still the president at the time or not, but he got the opportunity to get a picture with the president. He didn't want to show it to me for a long time because he knew that that I didn't vote for him, right? So he thought, oh, I don't want to show it to my dad because I don't want him to criticize something that I think is cool, right? And so eventually, it might have been a year or two later, but eventually he showed it to me, and my reaction was like, oh, that's awesome, and he was like, but you don't like. I keep wanting to say Trump, but you don't like Clinton. And I go, yeah, I don't care. Not everybody
Right.
gets to meet a president. That's pretty darn cool. Forget
Yeah,
about
yeah.
all that. It's pretty cool. And
If I had the opportunity, I'd take a picture with Trump. Just
yeah, exactly.
he's there, might as well
And
do it.
listen,
Yeah,
Trump after the political stuff, Trump was like doing like stand up. I mean, he was funny, like saying how good looking our team was. Every player is like shaking their calling out 3 or 4 players, shaking their hands, saying how good looking they are. I mean, like Messi was smiling, like in this picture. He thought something Trump said was funny. I don't remember
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was, but Trump was like, it's like he was doing some stand up there. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
kind
like
of
I said,
funny.
he was entertaining, and other than the beginning where did the political stuff, and
Yeah.
that I think had no place for that event, but
Right. I
whatever.
agree. I agree.
Uh, it still was a cool moment. I loved what Jorge Mas said also,
And
talking about. It was funny too. I don't know if you caught it, but he apparently Trump thought that he was Cuban. And then Jorge said something about him being his parents were or something like that. He told him, and he was born over here, of course. But I thought that was kind of funny
well,
because that shows
it's
you that Trump and him don't have that close of a relationship.
no, but the Moss and the Moss family are political. They had a Cuban freedom coalition. I forgot what it's called. That was, and I looked it up. It was created at the time that Reagan was a president, and so Jorge Mas' father was very involved with all the politics and all that, and was a little more right leaning. And from what I understand, Jorge is a little more middle, which
Yeah,
I think is a good idea. But
yeah,
but his speaking, yeah, he spoke so eloquently. Now you could be upset with him a little bit because how he's calling it the people's house, and he's like kissing up a little bit. But I thought he
right.
did a great job. I thought he did a great job. And so a new Weissman mentioning in the comments, I hope they didn't serve them McDonald's like they did the men's hockey squad. That's funny. Julio Enriquez, one of our members, thought it was awesome. There was something I forgot what it was. There was a comment I saw that I saw. Here, one more one goal is saying she saw lots of good comments. Depends on who you follow. Plus, it was a nice day for Miamians. Yeah, so I don't follow anybody political. I just follow soccer people. And so just if you look in the Inter Miami group, but in history, a lot of soccer fans lean left. That's
Yeah.
not uncommon. So you could see why there could be some sort of issues there. But anyways, one more one goal also says he is Cuban. Well, yeah, he's Cuban, but he's Cuban American.
Yeah. He was what he was saying is, yeah, he was born in the United States. His father was Cuban, is what he meant to say.
Here,
Yeah.
Julio also mentioned I got the chance to meet George Bush Sr. I didn't agree with him or what he was doing. He was a vice president at the time, and it was an honor. Louis Rodriguez said many people started to unfollow Messi just because he went to the White House. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this, Ed. Let's go to a couple voicemails because one of the voicemails will touch on this, and then it'll lean us going in the direction of the game.
All right.
It's time for your voicemail.
Hello.
Hey, Peter and Uncle Ed and all the great fans out there. It's Italia One World, One Goal. From Yankee Boy to sports shorts to everyone in between, young to old. Not saying that you guys are old, nor me, ha ha ha. But we are the OG show. Appreciate all you do to not only bring this team back, but finally we're going to be opening that new stadium in about a month or so, or less. And great to see Messi is still providing sellout crowds. And what a nice little win that we held on to. And what an honor, an incredible honor to be at our beautiful White House. It's our nation's capital. It's incredible if you haven't ever been there and you get the chance to go. I went as a kid, very young, so I grew up in the D.C. area. And after I came home, I told my mom I think I went with my school trip first, and then I had gone back with my parents. And I said I wanted to paint every room in the house a different color because they have the blue room, the green room, all these beautiful historically decorated rooms. And then I actually was inspired to study architecture at University of Florida. So seeing all of the great tributes that Mr. Moss, who's the most eloquent speaker in the world, I mean, he's more politician, more of a political speaker than the president, and seeing Marco Rubio and everybody there, and a lot of our South Florida, especially Miami, people like Carlos Jimenez was the mayor that really pushed to help us get the team back and get the stadium back. There's a lot of unsung heroes along the way that are no longer in office, even our Mayor Suarez, who's finished his term. So we do owe a lot of debt of gratitude to get this new stadium open. Peace out. Love you guys. Love the show.
So One World, One Goal mentioned a lot of the people that helped get the stadium to where it is. Look, we talked about Moss being political. I mean, that took a lot of handshaking and maybe, whatever else needed to be done in the politics side of things to get that stadium built, because it wasn't easy.
It took so long, Peter, and that's I mean, it took the Moss brothers to come and fix that problem, because otherwise I don't think it would have happened.
He needed all those local political connections to make it happen. Louis Rodriguez says, I want to see how the stadium is so far. Well, good for you, Louis, that tomorrow we should have a new construction video up. Ed Winton walked around the place, got some nighttime shots as well.
Nighttime shot. I was going to say, Peter, you took it right out of my mouth. We did some nighttime shots just to see if they were working at nighttime, and you guys can check that out tomorrow. Hopefully in the morning, I should have the video out.
Right.
Crossing fingers.
Great. So you won't get to see the inside per se yet, but that's less than a month away, and we'll be there. Here, one more voicemail.
Hey, what's up, mi gente? Guys, all the listeners, hope you're all well. Congratulations on the 3 points you picked up against DC United in my beloved hometown of Baltimore. I did not attend. My brother, who's a DC United season ticket holder, wasn't able to make the match either, but, it was a big event. It was a big night. It drew a lot of money to Baltimore, and that's something that I don't take lightly. I very much appreciate. And it gave people the chance to bond over this sport that we love. So for me, I'm just happy that everything went well. There was no, sort of negative incidents. Your guys seemed like they were taken care of well and well received. And, it's a beautiful thing. So y'all take care. Holla at you later, players.
All right. Always good to hear from Yankee Boy. We won in DC. That should not be a surprise. DC is not a good team. Hasn't been a good team for a long time. Looked like a good team in the second half, however. But what'd you think? I mean, the first half, obviously, we looked really good.
A tale of two halves, like we always say. It's a little redundant, but that's
cliche.
Basically what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Rodrigo De Paul scoring. How about that? And if I'm not wrong,
he played good this game. I mean, you can't complain about him. He scored a goal.
I can complain, Ed. He did miss an easy goal in the second half near the end of the game.
He's not a goal scorer, so give him one out of two ain't bad.
But the second one was the easier of the two.
It really was, man.
The easier of the two.
You just had to tap that sucker in.
Yeah, and if I'm not wrong, it wasn't on his goal, wasn't it? Berterame that assisted.
The pass. Yeah.
So that was good because Berterame is got to get in the groove with his team so far. I mean, he's getting there a little bit in the fact that but I noticed he drifts wide way too much. He's not in the middle where the ball is. I mean, he's trying to cut in and things like that, but he's drifting too much.
He is dragging defenders with him, and that's opening up space for Messi. But he should be the one that should be in the center.
Yeah, and it looks like he tried to one touch pass with Messi once or twice, and just they got to get on that same page. I think maybe a few more games, and hopefully we'll see what we're expecting to see from the guy. But
he's definitely more involved. I mean, he did the pass. He started the play for the what was it, for the second goal? Was it the Messi goal, or was it the first one? Well, he did a pass for the first goal, right?
Yep.
And then the second one, I think he started the whole movement all the way to the goal. So he's more involved, but yeah, he needs to be the guy. He needs to be the number 9. He needs to be in there.
Yeah. But they looked overall. I mean, they did what they were expected to do. Let's get rid of that. Bring up this over 72,000 people. They moved the game from DC to Baltimore. Look, question: if Baltimore can get this many fans, now I know a lot of it's because of Messi, but the report was there were quite a lot of DC uniforms there, or kits there as well. Could Baltimore support an MLS team? I wonder. Because they support, it's a big enough town, big enough city, and all that to support an NFL team, and so does DC. So they're close together, but they both have NFL teams. So why couldn't they both support MLS teams? It just made me wonder if they could actually support an MLS team.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking about the same thing. They are pretty close to each other, so
Yeah,
maybe
like 3
that's the
hours apart, I
reason why.
think.
Yeah, and in Tampa,
Right?
people were saying Tampa should have a team because
Nah,
they're close to Orlando, so
nah.
uh, same thing. I would love to have Tampa in Major League Soccer again because that would be another
Yeah,
rival
that's
for
too. I think.
Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Tampa and Orlando got it. Like, should Tampa have gotten it over Orlando? You can have that argument, right? I think that makes sense. But they got it, so I'm like, I think Tampa. I'm sorry, you're out. But
Mm.
but I just saw this and I started thinking. In my opinion, I mean, I started thinking that, hey, I wonder if Baltimore could support an MLS team.
Yeah.
So, but I was reading a lot of comments about this. There, the league and the league owners get a lot of hate when they move these games to these larger venues. Saw many comments from DC United fans complaining that they were priced out. Like maybe they're not season ticket holders, right? But they got priced out of this game. We already experienced the Messi tax. Our prices went up dramatically a couple years ago in our season tickets. So we've already seen the Messi tax. But now Messi tax goes on the road. And now, the people in Baltimore that want to go see a game, want to go see Messi and everything, now they're paying, 3 times the price of what a ticket may be normally. So it's, I see the owners basically get, raked through the coals saying all they care about is money. And I look at this and saying, well, 2 things. 1, yeah, it's a business. Duh, they care about money. And then 2, how can you say no to that? If your stadium normally holds 20,000, you can go over 3 times that for one game. Why would you not?
Yeah, man. They made some money off of that. And Messi and Inter Miami should go to these other teams and say, "Hey, man, give us a cut because it's our guy that's giving you all this extra
There you
loot."
go.
So,
Well, what do they say? All tides rise ships, or whatever that saying is. But it is a single entity ownership. So, if one team does well, they all do well.
right.
But the complaints tend to be from the fans of like, MLS being this evil empire and all they care about is money. But look, you see this show on the road, and how do you say no to it? I mean, they normally are not even filling their 20,000 seat stadium in Audi Field, which actually I think it was in the Athletic. I think it was in the Athletic. They do every year a Q&A with soccer chief soccer operator officers, CSOs, and they ranked like who had the best and worst stadiums in MLS, and Audi Field, the DC United Stadium, was ranked like 1 or 2 as one of the top. I think it was the top 3 worst stadiums.
Wow.
And it's pretty new. It's within like 5-6 years old or something like that. I'm kind of surprised that it was ranked so poorly, but it's something the way they built it that people just don't like it. So,
Yeah. That's crazy, man. But
Anu Weissman mentions, as far as that game goes, you probably had people throughout the DMV, Philadelphia, and probably New Jersey, New York, coming to the game. I watched the New Jersey game today, the New Jersey Red Bulls, and there were no fans in that stadium. Maybe they all had spent their money and went to Baltimore, because that stadium was empty. I watched that game early,
Wow.
just before we doing this show, and they got beat by Montreal 3-0.
Wow.
Nobody was at that game. Nobody.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess they went with Messi.
yeah, maybe. YCA says DC didn't have home field advantage yesterday, and we still didn't win big. Yeah, I mean this team's still trying to figure itself out. I guess they're not winning big.
Yeah, I'm thinking, they kind of like let their foot off the gas in the second half, and they I guess they got comfortable with the 2-0, which is always dangerous because
Maybe
teams usually come back from a 2-0. We did it
it's
against the past game as well with Orlando, so it's a dangerous score, 2-0.
yeah, but it seems to be with us. It's always one or two bad passes or something like that, mistakes that are made that we pay for. And then teams just jump on it fast because it's like we've been saying for a while is that it's not just defenders and things like that. It's like our tactics. We push up so far. So if they could get a fast break or we make a bad mistake, then they're going to make us pay for it, And I think that happens most games, where we make some boneheaded mistake. But and right now also, like our midfield needs some help because a lot of times they're just walking through our midfield. Like I love Bright. Bright, I mean, you saw that play. He saved the goal. He took that ball right out from underneath that guy's foot.
Yeah, he played really well. I think he was the second best player yesterday. He's just
But
always in great position. He's probably one of my favorite players.
do they need to put another person in there in the middle though? I mean, because DePaul is kind of just going up and down. I don't know. He's everywhere, right? I mean, he's playing better and
Yeah,
better. But it just seems like
but
they're a lot of times coasting through our midfield.
yeah, it's definitely not the same as last year. I mean, you really get to see, we're missing two, our two retired players.
Yeah,
They're
you're really
both,
noticing it.
well, yeah, you see the difference. There's a big difference there, and hopefully Regulon comes back and could be at least half as good as Jordi Alba was, and make us. I don't know. He's played for big teams, but I don't know if he's definitely not as great as Jordy is. But
Right.
we'll see. Well, I guess we're gonna see what it looks like.
Yeah. As far as the game, One World says, I think they dialed it in, holding the win to conserve energy for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I don't think that's the case. This team doesn't. Messi doesn't know how to dial it in. It seems like he was so pissed off at this result that he walks straight to the to the locker room. Didn't I guess nobody got to get a Messi jersey that night. It's so much so one thing I noticed, they gave the player of the match award to Berterame.
Right.
Is that because they couldn't find Messi?
Yeah, and I
Is it because Messi was already in the locker
I
room?
guess
So
so.
they're like, okay, let's give it to somebody else. I mean, because Berterame, while he had a better game, he didn't deserve player of the match. I'm just thinking
Right,
they
right. I
couldn't
agree
find
with
Messi.
that. Yep.
um, you know, One World also mentions Ayala or whatever, however you say his name is coming in the midfield. Yeah, why isn't he not playing though? I would hope to have seen
His
him play already. I know
his
Ayala was out because his father was died, but he was on the bench this time.
Yeah, I guess they're probably going to give him another game before they bring him in. I think it'll be important to see what he can do. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be Bright that's going to be out to give him a chance to play.
Yeah. All right.
And I think
Well,
Bright's great.
yeah, exactly. Well, this game leads into the next game, is which she mentioned, CONCACAF Champions Cup, that's coming up on Wednesday. This is what they said they have banked their entire season off of. This is the goal, CONCACAF Champions Cup. So playing against Nashville, who won this weekend. I forgot who they played. I think they won 3-1 or something like that. Surridge, I think, is now the top goal scorer in the league currently. So
That's
they're playing well. Yeah, they beat Minnesota. They beat Calendar 3-1. Our old goalkeeper. So they're coming into this tournament strong right now.
Did the Colombian play? I don't know if you
For
saw the game.
Nashville?
Yeah. No, not for Nashville. I mean for Minnesota.
What Colombian? Who's their Colombian?
What's his name? James.
Oh, James, that Colombian.
Yeah.
No, he did not play. No, he's not. No.
2 games that he hasn't played, but I think he was on the bench though. So at least
He's not listed on the bench either.
Oh wow! I wonder what happened. Is he giving them problems already?
I mean, I'm looking through it like twice. Just
yeah, he's
he's not on the bench.
He's a character, so maybe he's already having problems with the team, man.
Yeah.
It
Everybody in
happens
the
with
chat's
every
going,
team.
James. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's all. We forgot. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, no, he's not. He wasn't listed on the bench. Had he been listed on the, had he played, I'm sure
we would have heard about it.
You know, Minnesota could have still lost, but it would have been a better game.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see him play. I totally forgot that he was playing, or that he's eligible to play, but he hasn't been able to play yet. So maybe next game.
Apparently, even though he hasn't played, he's the best player in MLS.
Well, yeah, but
he hasn't even played, and he's already the best player. How did that happen, Ed?
I guess his playing ability precedes him, even though he doesn't play yet.
Sub V1089 likes him. Apparently, Sean says he has a contusion, or is it a confusion? Does he have some confusion?
Maybe that's what it is.
Julio is just guessing. Maybe his work permit hasn't come in, but maybe Sean's right. Maybe he has a contusion.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anu says it's also visa issues. So whatever. It's either he's got a contusion because he can't get a visa. Yeah. He's got some visa confusion. A visa contusion.
Well, I don't know what's keeping him so long because they should have told Inter Miami to help them out with that because we get him quick.
Not as quick this year, though. This year it did take a little bit longer than it has in the past.
Oh, concussion.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was saying concussion. Well, someone else had written contusion. So,
well,
tomato,
right?
Contusion's like a big bruise, YC says James is selling T-shirt. Yeah, I'm curious where it's ranking right now. It's going to sell well. That's why I said. That's why, as far as him going to Minnesota, and I talked to our friend Brian from Minnesota. It's a win-win. I mean, even if he doesn't play well, they got him cheap for basically for 6 months, and they'll sell a lot of merchandise and if he does play well, then you get that as well. But at the very least, it's a great marketing. So why not?
Yeah, merchandising.
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
that movie?
Yeah.
Spaceballs. Merchandising.
Yeah, Spaceballs. When they did Spaceballs, they were not. Lucas was okay with it because he could have shut that down. If George Lucas could have shut that down, because there's so many comparisons to Star Wars, he didn't. He said the only rule that they had to follow is they were not allowed to do any merchandising, because at that time there were no Star Wars movies, but there was tons of Star Wars merchandise. So they did not do any actual merchandise, but they made it, like you just did, a joke inside the movie, which is hilarious.
Merchandising, yeah, that was funny.
So Sean is doubling down on his from the MLS website. He's done his research, folks. It's a contusion, and he's questionable.
Oh, whoa, questionable. Look at that.
There you go. Well, he wasn't on the bench. He wasn't on the bench. Anyways, getting back to we don't care about Minnesota right now. They played Nashville. Nashville whipped up on them. Nashville's coming into this looking good. Sam Sturridge has, I think, scored 4 goals already this season. He's looking good. We're going to Nashville. We've had so many meaningful games against Nashville. I mean, a lot of us say that Nashville really should be our true rival. But it's weird. We say they're our rival, but it doesn't seem like I think a rivalry is born out of like important matches, like meaningful moments, maybe dirty moments, maybe fights, maybe this or that. But big matches definitely can create a rivalry. But there doesn't seem to be any anger towards these two teams. Like they don't hate each other. Like Orlando and Miami, at least the fans hate each other. I think Orlando hates us more than we hate them. We don't care as much.
Yeah, we're kind of like,
they seem to
you
get
know,
they seem to get more worked up than we do.
we're
But if you
we're
just
like this,
look at
Peter.
it,
It's like if a fly gets on you and you're like,
just
you
an annoying gnat. You just keep
flick it
doing
off.
this.
You flick it off or whatever, you know.
Or buzzing around your ear.
Yeah. You're trying to get rid of it or whatever. Yeah.
But Nashville, we beat them in the Leagues Cup, the first year of the Leagues Cup. I think we've lost to them, I think, in the Open Cup. So, I mean, we've had a lot of meaningful games against them. So this is definitely on the top of that list since Jorge Mas stated that the Champions Cup is our main goal. So it's going to be a tough match going in. I think the game will be on Fox, which, that sucks, but because, I don't have Fox, but I can get it. Fox now has an app. In case you didn't know, they have an app called Fox One, so you can pay for like a month or do like a 7-day free trial, stuff like that.
Yeah, that might work. I'll try to do.
Seek16 says it's weird because I don't really think Nashville has challenged us in any of these games. It's been pretty easy pickings, minus Leagues Cup and Open Cup. Well, let's see, Nashville.
Yeah, see what the record is against us. But tell you the truth, Peter, while you're looking that up, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of like tired of Nashville. Well, we play them too much, man. It's like, all right, another game against Nashville, dude. Stop already.
It's a little more even than Seek16 says, but it's not. We have the upper hand. So we've played them 19 times. We've won 9 games. We've lost 5, and there's been 5 draws. So it does say recent form is we've dominated the recent matchups, including a 4-0 win in the MLS Cup playoffs. So we played them so much at the end of last year, where we played them 3 games in a row. So then we definitely got tired of them then.
Right. Yeah. So, it's like, we played them already.
Here. Oh, yeah, Mr. Crab says, it's not a rivalry. This is annoying. He's so tired of Nashville.
I'm with you, man. It's just,
I'll tell you,
dude.
I want to go to their stadium, though. Did you go to their stadium?
No, I haven't gone.
You went to Austin.
Yeah, I have a friend that lives in Nashville. I gotta hit her up so I could, take the couch or something. But yeah, it'd be cool to go to Nashville.
That stadium looks pretty cool. So, I wouldn't mind checking out a game there. From the outside, at least, it looks pretty neat. Pretty cool design.
Yeah. It seems like it's a real cool town. So I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Louis Rodriguez says Miami has had good games against Nashville, especially like we mentioned as of late, right? Because the end of last year we played them I think it was 3 games in a row, and yeah, it is funny how they end up in our draw so often. Like it's just like, what are the odds? Like, what are the odds that we're gonna end up playing against Nashville again? Right? I mean, it's in another tournament.
Yeah, it's just they become like you said, a rival, our not so wanted rival, but there they are, and we got to play them again. But they're coming off of a good win, so it's going to be tough. They're not going to be easy. They're always a good team to play against.
1-1 goal says I would like the guitar before to kick it off. Yeah, they have a really cool thing where before the match kicks off, they get somebody up there to shred on a Nashville guitar. Like it is a very cool guitar, and that is a neat way to kick off games. That's
a thing for them. That they've got that whole Nashville. I guess their party scene must be pretty exciting. So
Well, they're
we
known
gotta
for
go check it out.
music. Yeah, what
Yeah.
is the street? I think it's Broadway Street. I think where they have all those bars for like all those country singers have their own bars. You know, I think Luke Bryan and all these famous country singers. People my daughter knows, but I'm not as familiar with. But I know. I think
You're
Kid
heavy
Rock
metal,
has
Peter.
one. What's that?
You know, you're heavy metal, Peter. That's your forte,
Yeah, where's the Motley Crue bar?
right?
That's the
That's
one I
what I'm
want to go
talking.
to. That's one I want to go to. Louis is mentioning, since Miami started in MLS, Nashville has been a tough opponent with good games. Yeah, well, Miami and Nashville. That's the other reason we've kind of said that they're rivals. We started in the league together. We started in the league at the same time. So it's like we're kind of fighting each other in the beginning for draft picks. And, now we're fighting them in actual games. Anu says Nashville equals bachelorette party in Johnny Cash. So, yeah, I have heard that is the place for bachelorettes to go. But I mean, it looks like a fun place to go. I actually, the stadium looks cool. I mean, forget about the downtown and the drinking and the bars and all that stuff. I mean, which is cool. But I think the stadium looks cool.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think we're getting a win in this game, or what do you think? You think we're going to end up tying it and then having to win at home? Which, by the way, I will be at that game. Now it's called Inter Miami CF Stadium. I will be at that game, so we will have a game day vlog for that.
And we thought that stadium, we weren't going to play in that stadium anymore, but I guess so, huh?
Well, we knew that was going to be the case because it wasn't going to be ready before March. So I mean, our stadium's getting the thing is coming down to the wire.
Yeah, Peter. I mean, you guys are going to see that video tomorrow. Hopefully, it comes out. There's a lot of work still to be done, and they're working. I was there on a Saturday. People were working. So even the building, the city building, they had people working yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's busy. It's they're trying to get this thing out quick. And I forgot about that.
It's now called New Stadium, and I think somebody in the chat was saying that they like the name. It's called New Stadium, New Bank. And this was rumored for a while. I think it was about 6 months ago. New Bank was mentioned, and I ended up having to Google like what the heck is New Bank, and it's basically like a digital bank. I even had to Google like what's that. I guess to me, my best understanding is it's a bank without a building, which makes sense because I can't tell you the last time I actually walked inside of a bank. I never go into a bank. I think the last time I walked inside of a bank was because I had to open my daughter's bank account when she was still underage. So I gave her like a teenage bank account and I had to sign off on it. I think that's the last time I've been in a physical bank. So I guess a digital bank makes sense. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs saying Camp Nou would have been a better name. It would have been funny.
That would have been really funny. Well, you can always say, a lot of people have been saying the new stadium.
Yeah, new stadium. Well, I mean, it is the new stadium, and it is the new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this last week, and last week I put the Moss Plus logo on the back for the tramp stamp, but as a new Weissman says, it's the sponsor, tramp stamp sponsor. It's not just the sponsor of the bank, I'm sorry, of the stadium, but it's also the sponsor on their tramp stamp.
Yeah, you gotta love the tramp stamp.
So now, if last week when we were talking about the tramp stamp, some people were saying that they're not on board with it, they don't want it. Well, now's the time to go buy your jersey before it gets put on there. Like, so if what the initial reports were that I was reading from last week is that this will happen after the All-Star game. So teams are allowed to do it after the All-Star game. But, thinking about it, I was watching the New York game today. Red Bulls already have it on the back of their jersey. They've had it since the beginning.
Wow. They're trying to bank on it as soon as possible. That's more advertising space, man. I'm all for it, I think it's a good thing. We're not going to be like the Mexicans who have
Yeah,
Advertisements
that's too
everywhere.
much. That's too much. Why Miami turning purple? Look, you can't always control the sponsor's colors. Would it have been better if we were allowed to use their logo as like a white or a black? Like they could be purple, but if we could just use the logo in white or black and not purple, like on the jersey, it's black, right? If they could have put the stadium sign white, that would have looked good. You know, here's a rendering of what the stadium's going to look like. So it's going to be in purple according to this. So I get the fact that we don't like it because it's purple, but you can't control that. I was actually noticing.
Can we swap with Orlando that we can have an stadium at inter stadium, and they could keep the purple color?
Yeah, I know. I get it, and they're both um, here. I wanted to bring this up for. Let's see if I can make it bigger.
Bigger.
Whatever. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, pop-ups. Here, I was just giving, we don't like the fact that it's purple. My point is you can't always control the color of your sponsors. This is the Columbus Crew Stadium. They got a new sponsor as well recently. Scott's Miracle Grow, and it's green. I'm sure they would have preferred for it to be yellow.
Right.
But it's green. So,
it's always something, I tell you, Peter Brown.
You're just gonna have to deal with it. You could look at it like this. We're gonna steal purple. We're gonna make, Orlando, you used it first, okay, and now we're gonna teach you how to use it properly.
I like that.
What if? Okay, Ed, they every year lately, this will be the third year in a row, we'll have a third kit. We're gonna have a third kit.
Mm-hmm.
Our third kit so far has been aqua, teal, or whatever you call it.
I don't like what you're gonna say, Peter. I can already tell what you're gonna say.
Second was like a sky blue. What if we went purple to steal? We're basically stealing the color from Orlando. They think they're purple. We all make the world or whatever wear Inter Miami purple. What if we steal it for a third kit?
Yeah, I'm still not thrilled, but it could happen. We'll definitely outsell them because I don't think they sell that much, do they? Unless they get Griezmann.
Nah. A new Weissman saying $19 million a year for the stadium rights. Yeah, that's the rumor. $190 million deal. So far, they haven't officially announced it, but that's what the rumor is. I did a little research on that, and that makes it the highest sponsorship in MLS. Currently, I think the highest was LAFC for $100 million. So there's 90 million more. And also, interesting enough, it was that Hard Rock that sponsors the Miami Dolphins pay $14 million a year. So per year, Inter Miami is making more. Now, I stress the per year because the Dolphins have a 15-year agreement, I think it is. So over the long term, they're going to make more money on that deal. But if you just look at per year, how much they're making per year, Inter Miami is making more than the Marlins. They're making more than the Dolphins. They're making, more than any other MLS team. This is a huge deal. So if the thing is you have to wear purple, screw it. You wear purple.
You do it for the money.
We were talking about earlier where people complain that these owners are cashing in. There was actually a comment I saw that Jorge Mas made about that. He was here. I could find that. It was basically saying that he pays Messi $70 to $80 million a year. Yeah, here it is. It says in the Athletic by Paul Tenorio. The article says the Inter Miami owner said this week that Lionel Messi's compensation amounts to about $70 to $80 million a year when including his share in ownership. He says the reason I need to have sponsors and for them to be world class is because players are expensive. I pay Messi worth every penny, but it's 70 million to 80 million a year across everything. So,
So this is helping pay Messi.
Again, the way the internet reads things is silly because I read this article, and then I saw somewhere on one of the Reddit posts, all these Messi lovers just going, oh, the owner's complaining that he has to pay Messi that much. He should be lucky that he has to pay Messi. Bah, bah, bah. He didn't complain that he has to pay Messi. He's just telling you the financial situation that, yeah, he's expensive. So we're going to have to sign some big sponsorship deals.
Well, this is one of them. This is definitely going to help pay him.
Because this is not his again, it's taking into account that he's going to be an owner, so that he's rolling that into like basically what the compensation is. So
making that money.
Comment here, just interesting. Seek16 is saying, by the way, if you want your jersey before the sponsor gets on there, Sawgrass has them for $35 at the Adidas store. Which one, Seek? I'm just curious. Which shirt is it? The, like the last year's, the out of date version, or is it the one of the two current jerseys that they wore, the black or the
pink?
But it's with the pink. Yes, but it's the Victoria's Secret pink. It's the whole Victoria's Secret thing.
The Argentinian look.
Yeah, but if you go to the mall, it looks like the Victoria's Secret bag. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember the name of that store. I knew that. It's not funny if I can't think of it, though. Lou, as far as my idea of stealing their jersey color, Orlando would have to come up with a new color jersey. What? Yeah, Orlando can do a third kit pink, and then everybody will laugh at them saying, they're trying to steal it from us.
Mm-hmm. But but if Inter Miami uses their color, people are not going to even think about it, because they don't even think about, Orlando.
People just go, oh, this looks cool.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Inter Miami. Yeah.
They're gonna come up with a third kit this year. So we know that. We just don't know what it's going to look like. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Or the color.
Hey, there was one more topic I wanted to touch on.
Griezmann.
Yeah, Griezmann. Speaking of Orlando, he was heavily rumored to be going to Orlando, which is surprising too, because again, I've been scouring the internet, looking at what people are talking about and things like that. And Orlando fans are pretty upset right now. They've lost all their I think all 3 games this year. They got destroyed in New York City, 5-0, and they want to fire the coach. They're complaining that their ownership is cheap. They think the Wilf family are horrible owners, and so they don't like them. If the Wilfs are so cheap, how could they afford to buy Griezmann? Because the rumor is that he was going to go to Orlando. But they specifically made an offer that was very high that said he had to come now. He wants to wait till summer because, there's a championship on the line in Spain. So he wants to play that, stay there, which then, according to reports, opens the doors for other teams. And Miami's name has been thrown into the ring.
Yeah. How, Peter Brown?
Well, first off, would you want him?
I think so. I think he'd definitely be a great player to have in the midfield. But we can't afford him.
Exactly. That's my thing. Is it again? This it was in the Athletic, an article about this where they actually did mention us, right? But we would have to you'd have to get rid of some people, Ed. You'd have to sell some people off. They have what was the number? So the GAM came out, how much every team had, and I think we had like somewhere around $17,000. Will he play for $17,000?
I don't think he's gonna go for that, Peter.
No,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
But I thought everybody was willing to take the Messi discount.
I think he'd take a discount, but I don't think he's gonna go for $17,000. I would go for $17,000. I could use that. Pay off some debts.
Yeah. Francisco saying we have 18,000. I think it was a little bit less than 18, but yeah, if you round it up, maybe it's 18. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs says, good thing Griezmann isn't going to Orlando. He has been rumored to come here for so long. Exactly. But again, with only $17,000, $18,000 in GAM, there's no money. So in order to make this happen, though, you have to come over here and look at some of these players and go, who are you willing to sell? Who can you offload? So this already assumes even if we were to entertain this, you are assuming he is going to take a deal like Suarez, because we don't have a DP. So you are assuming this is that he would take a low deal at least for 1 year, and then hope
or 6 months. Yeah,
right, and hope that MLS will introduce a fourth DP in the next year, right? Otherwise, you got to get rid of somebody. As far as DPs. Now, even with that deal, even if he came in on a Suarez deal, making under $1.5 million, we don't have $1.5 million. So are you Benjamin Kromoski is on loan, and he actually got a start. I saw him, he got a start today, I think it was. Sean is bringing that up. If Parma buys Benha, that's like $3.1 million after MLS takes their cut. So yeah, you're allowed to, for all the player sales that you make, you're allowed to take basically $3 million. So it's not $3 million from each sale; it's total sales for the year. So if we sold three players for $1 million each, then that would be the $3 million. Or if we sold one player for $5 million, we could take 3 of that million and convert it to GAM, so they can convert that to payroll. The rest just goes into the coffers. But Eric Thomas mentioning, I'm shocked LAFC isn't trying to scoop him up. I'm sure LAFC. I'm sure everybody's going to try to scoop him up. The fact that Orlando couldn't nail it down, everybody's going to go after him. But the idea that we could be in contention. Because even our buddy Julio was like throwing it in there. And I think you were making a comment that, hey, if the Moss brothers want it to happen, it will happen. But my reaction to you was, how?
Right. That it's right now. There's no space. 17,000 beans ain't gonna be enough for him.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not doable.
Who
do we get rid of?
Well, we already got rid of Aviles. I still have him on my list. I got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
What's the name of our defender that was expensive?
Lujan, I think, is one of them.
Lujan. Where's Lujan on my list? Lujan is making
right underneath Kremoski.
So, yep. So if we sold Kremoski and also maybe got rid of Lujan, we could maybe come up with a little bit of money to buy down a deal, at least for 1 year on TAM.
Right. We can maneuver something there.
But we have to sell somebody. You have to sell somebody. You have to be willing to get rid of somebody. And it's probably a couple somebodies to make it happen. A news saying, y'all cheating the salary cap. Well, there's always that.
Hey, man, if they can maneuver it, they can maneuver it. It's just, don't blame us for having ownership that really wants to, make a difference. They want to, play around with the numbers, and as long as they don't get caught like the first time with Matuidi, right. I think we're good.
Sean says Griezmann wants to be in Florida or New York City, but mostly Florida. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was, he was down here at the goofing around with the Miami Dolphins, kind of hanging out with them a little bit. So, I guess anything is possible. But to a news point that we cheat, I think if the league, I mean, they want us to be a super team, right? But if they're smart, and I think the smarter business move, if you want to manipulate things, is you make him go to another team so that you have more than one super team. right? If you're the league, not us fans, we want all the good players, right? But if you're the league, you don't want just one super team. You don't want one team that goes and forces clubs to get NFL-sized stadiums because you come into town. You want 2 or 3 of those. So you've got that with LAFC a little bit because of Son. Yeah. But now if you add Griezmann to that, LAFC would be your next super club. I mean, imagine that. Boanga, Son, Griezmann. I think that would make MLS happy if to create. So that's, to me, that's like, if the fix is in, I'd say he definitely, Miami is on the out, as far as if it being a fix, if there's cheating being allowed. So, Sean Callahan is saying another option could be it takes a little over $2 million to buy out DePaul out of his DP spot to bring him down to a TAM player. Okay, I don't know. It does get confusing and complicated when you start talking about MLS monopoly money. But I mean, there's possibilities. But either way, it takes money that we don't have. So it's just an interesting thought. But in all honesty, Ed, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's difficult, and if it happens, they got to do, like you said, they got to move a lot of players on the roster to make that happen. So unless MLS decides to give another DP spot, which I would be happy with,
I doubt they will do that. They've never done that kind of thing in the middle of the year. They've made minor changes, rule changes. I asked ChatGPT for some help about this. Like how often does MLS change the rules in the middle of the year? And it has happened a few times, but they're small rules, like maybe adding a little bit more money or something like that, or minor tweaks. A big rule like a new DP doesn't generally happen in the middle of the year. But I could see if they were going to ever do it, it would make sense to do it next year when they're changing the calendar. You kind of go out with a bang. Like, we're changing the calendar, we're also adding more money. All right.
You, Peter.
Good job.
I hear you, Peter Brown.
All right. So it's not happening, folks. I don't see it happening. Anyways, I hope it happens. Ed, we have a construction video tomorrow.
We have a construction video, and be sure to check out there should be a Spanish show, and there should be another Spanish video coming out. I think there was a Marco El Oso, the bear, went to Baltimore. He actually saw the video. He made, I think, a couple of videos, but we got to get him to do more videos, man. That's his problem. He's just he likes going, enjoying it, and not working, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, he's got to work it. One last comment. Anu is saying Atlanta can take him. No, nobody wants to go play in Atlanta. That's just for you, Anu. I mean, I'm sure Atlanta's great, but you play on turf. I mean, you have grass in there for the moment just because of the World Cup, but you play on turf. You don't want to play on turf every week.
Yeah, anyways, turf is un-American.
Turf sucks. Anyways, All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. See you, everybody.